Hi everyone and welcome to my third video of my Learn How to Knit for Beginners series, where I am teaching you all you need to know about knitting and all what it means to become a knitter. And in the last video we were talking about how to cast on your knitting needles, how to get started with your knitting project. And in this video I will teach you the knitting itself, so how you knit and make a sweater maybe, or whatever you want to make. So I will basically teach you two types of stitches. So the first stitch being the kind of V shape that you see on here. It's kind of hard to see on this yarn, but it's a V here, and it's the same for this sweater that I'm wearing today. I haven't knitted it, so don't think that I'm a pro. And the other stitch that I will teach you is on the back side of this V shape, and this is called purls, and these are called knits. So I hope you're ready to become a knitter, because today we are going to learn how to knit. So let's go. So as I said before, we learned how to cast on last time. And what we need to cast on is, of course, our knitting needle and yarn. So you take the yarn, and you know how to do this by now. You make your slip knot and you make your preferred cast on. In my case, you know that I like the long tail cast on, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I cast on as many stitches as I want to have. You can just pick a random number. You don't have to do many, but I will make 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 stitches. And then I don't get such a long tail as well. So that's pretty good. So there we go. We have our cast on. So what we are going to do now is to knit from these, because what you just did is a cast on and not a knit. So now you want to pick up your second knitting needle, and this is where the fun happens. So now you are, as I said before, this is the right side of the row, which you can see by these waves, and this is the wrong side of the row when you see these bumps that you have here. And as I said before, there are two types of stitches that you can make, and it's the purls and the knits. And what we are going to do first is the knit stitch, which is the following. So what you want to do now is that you take your needle with your stitches in your left hand, and you want to take the yarn that is connected to your skein, and you hold it as you wish. I think this is the way I do. I know that many people do it differently, but I take the pointing finger or index finger. I realized it's actually called from recording the last video. And then I wrap it like this, and I just hold the yarn like this. And so you want to be having it quite snug like this. So you don't want to be out here, you know. It's going to be very loose if you hold it like that. So you want to have it quite tight. And as you are beginners, you will probably be holding it either very loose, or you will be holding it very, very tight. But I would suggest that you just relax and you try it out, and then you try again if you can't do it the first time. So no pressure. Take it easy, take a deep breath, and let's try this together. So what you want to be doing is that you take your right needle and insert it in the first loop here, like this. So I inserted it in the first loop. And then what you want to do next is that you wrap your yarn around, not clockwise, but the other direction. So you want to be taking it this way. Then you take the yarn with you out of the loop, and then you let go of the loop. And then you have your first stitch. So once again, you take your right knitting needle and take it inside of the loop, wrap the yarn around anti-clockwise, take it out of the loop, let go of the loop. And as you can see now, we get these V shapes here, and those are called knits, as I told you before. So just keep going, practice, and if you don't get it right the first time, no worries, just try again. And if it all screws up, just cast on again and try again, so to speak. And I'm using a merino wool yarn, so this automatically helps me get very nice and defined stitches. So just keep going like this until you reach the end of the row. I can tell my camera is not in focus right now. Please be. There we go. So now that you are at the end of the row, you see that you have the knits on this side and the purls on this side, which are the bumps. So actually we're now making not the correct way, or the correct way doesn't really matter, but this is the wrong side and we have the knits here, and this is the right side and we have the purls here, but it doesn't really matter. So this is just for practice. Either you could get going the same way that you have done before, that would be knitting all around, or you can now try to make purls. And the purls are, as I said, the bumps here, and it's usually on the wrong side of your row if you want to make so-called stockinette fabric, which is only knit stitches, which make this kind of just V all the way. And on the other side you can see there are purls. So now we are going to do the purl stitch, and this is usually the most difficult one if you compare it to the knit stitch. So this time, before you had the yarn on the back of your project or on the needle, so this time you want to have it on the front. You want to have the yarn in the front. And instead of taking the yarn from this direction, you want to take it from the opposite direction. So this stitch is basically the exact opposite of a knit stitch. So you take your yarn in the front, your right knitting needle, put it in here from the top and down. And then you want to again wrap the yarn anti-clockwise. Then you pull it out and drop the stitch. And there you go, you have a purl stitch. So once again, yarn in the front, right knitting needle, insert it this direction, wrap around the yarn, bring it out and drop the stitch. And so now you see that you will get these purl stitches on your needle. So this is going to make these bumps. And as you can see on this side, you get more knits. So this stitch creates a knit on the other side, and this stitch create a purl on the other side. So this makes this beautiful so-called stockinette fabric. But you could also, as I said before, just do knits and you will get kind of a wavy fabric. So this is what it looks like on the right side. Let me focus. There we go. This is the right side. And this is the wrong side. And then you just keep going like this. That's very easy, I think. It's not going to be easy for you who are beginners maybe, but just give it a try and try again, repeat and try again until you make it. So if you didn't make it the first time, just rewatch the video and try it again, because it's really fun once you get the hang of it. So I would suggest that you go back in the video and watch again if you didn't make it, and then you will eventually get it right and you will get these wonderful stitches that I have here. And as I said before, you don't have to make purls on the wrong side and knits on the right side, but you can actually do either a knit on the purl side and a purl on the knit side. So I will try to, it's kind of hard to look in a camera and do this at the same time. So I will begin by making a couple of purls, and then maybe I want to make a knit, or maybe even two knits, and then I want to make one purl and two knits again. And what that makes is, as you might understand, purls on this side. So you see you get these bumps here on the right side of your work. And if you want to keep going, you can make a nice pattern of this. So for example, now we want to make a purl here. So we make like a square out of purls. So we have 4 squares, or no, 4 purls. Then you want to knit. And then you have 2 purls again. and then you want to knit. So as you can see, that gives us this nice effect. So these pearls kind of stick out. You can't really see here, but it makes this wonderful fabric. So you can make squares if you want to by making pearls in the right side or on the right side of the fabric. So it makes this very beautiful kind of pattern. And you can do this with like any pattern. You could use pearls in order to get a kind of rectangle shape, or maybe you want to make just like one row with pearls and one row back with knits. So that's a good way to get started with nice knitting patterns. So it doesn't have to be that advanced. You could just do this simple knit and purl and make a beautiful pattern. And as you probably saw in one of my first videos, I think it was the first video, I had a knitted vest that I was wearing, and it was only made by knits and purls. So you could already be making a vest if you get the hang of this. So it doesn't have to be that complicated at all. So this is the basics of knitting. So I hope that you found this video helpful to learn how to knit. Now you can hopefully do both knits and purls, and maybe you can make some nice pattern with both of those stitches. Because it's really not that hard to make a sweater or a scarf or whatever you want to be making, because it's usually these two stitches that you need to use. Of course, there are some other methods. You might not be able yet to knit cables or those kinds of more advanced things, but you will soon enough. And maybe, as I've been saying before, I might make a more advanced knitting series, so there I will make sure to bring up how to make cables. And once again, I'm pointing a finger. Subscribe to my channel if you like what I do, because it makes me very happy to see that my content is appreciated, because I really do this with joy. I love to knit, and I hope that you can see that through what I do, because everyone who knows me know that yarn and knitting needles are the things that I love the most right now, and will probably do for a long time, maybe forever, who knows. So it would mean a lot to me to see maybe a like on the video, to get a new subscriber, because all of you matter. Just like in any other case, you are special to me. So in the next video, I will be showing you how to cast on your knitting project. So when you are finished, you want to make this border that is the edge of your work, and I will show you different ways how to do that in the next video, so I hope to see you there. So with that said, I want to thank you for joining me in this video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. So have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.